Good evening, everybody. What's going on? It's Matt, the Lumberjack Landlord. Super excited to be with you guys this evening. And yes, man, alive. It's just been one of those weeks. Feel like a one-legged man at an ass-kicking contest. It's been just an absolute blast, but I'm kidding, of course. It's been crazy. So, never seen this before. Honestly, I'm rarely at a loss for words. I don't know I'm at a loss for words. I'm just trying not to get banned on YouTube. Because where would I do my 90 minutes a week of therapy? But it was an interesting week. So we had gotten in, painters that I've worked with for a real long time, great relationship with the owner of the company. I was doing work with him when it was literally just him and his wife. And so it was awesome. We've both of our businesses have grown. We've both gotten, a lot bigger since when we started, but love working with him. And he's a great painter and he's just a good guy. Like, consider him a friend and almost kind of family. And so he's expanded his company. And we had a job that they were doing. They were actually doing, we were actually painting siding on the outside. We've been waiting, honestly, since I bought the building. The building, when I bought it, was blue, and it was two different shades of blue. It was one color blue for the body, and then it was another color blue for the shutters. And I was just like, this is the ugliest freaking house I've ever seen. Thank you, old owners, for making that house absolutely hideously ugly. I appreciate it. It actually saved me a fortune because so many people walked away because it was so ugly. So I buy the house. This is one of the houses that I turned a $1,200 rent, $1,295 rent into a $3,500 a month rent in one unit. Then the upstairs, where it was about $1,150, turned that into a $2,300 unit. 2 1-bedrooms that went from $700 to $1,500 or $1,400, excuse me. So that building basically makes about more than double what it used to make. Yes. And I'll be announcing that as well tonight. Wolf Building Journey, Chester. Really interesting. I just wanted to wait for more people to come in, actually. So as you guys know, one of the things that we actually like is we like actually working with the people that work with us, and we try and give them discounted rent. I know that that's one of the biggest stressors for them. I also know that it helps get me priority in line when I'm trying to work on a building and trying to get something done. Guess what? Big surprise. They're willing to say, oh yeah, you know what? I can push that off for a couple of days and I can come get yours out and done. So I'm like, that's awesome. So this house is looking absolutely spectacular. I will send you guys. Yeah, Craig, you wouldn't believe it, man. Because I know you've been through it. And so I think you might be the only one that's ever seen anything like this because you do so much of the work yourself. So, hey, Kyle. And so he calls me and he says, hey, listen, he goes, someone on my crew is actually looking for a place. The upstairs unit is actually perfect for them. It's exactly what they need. Their job history has been spotty before me, but since me, they've been pretty good. Hey, Jen. The infamous Jen Stewart is with us. Good to see you, Jen. And so my daughter was feeding me chicken nuggets tonight. A different story. So he calls me and says, hey, listen, I think she wants a place. I said, okay. I said, not a problem. And he goes, yeah, job history. And I know she's repairing credit and blah, blah, blah. He's like, but I give them steady work. And I said, okay, good enough for me. Cause it's coming from, a guy that is like a brother. So get her the application. We get the responses back from the application. And dear heavens, not great credit. But again, because they are part of a crew that we do work with, and that we work with often, like they have probably 9 jobs for us this summer, maybe 12, between 9 and 12 jobs for us this summer. So as we're going through it, I'm like, I was like, it's a little bit spotty, my dude. And he goes, yeah, I understand. He goes, listen, if you have to say no, you say no. And I said, no, we got a lot of stuff this summer. I want to make sure she's in good shape. And then she has a nice place to live. No, Jen is a owner of a VA firm, and I'm going to talk to you guys about that shortly after this story. So we go through the process, and then I start finding out she's like, well, I'm getting money from this fund and from that fund and from this town welfare and this other welfare. And so I'm starting to get an uneasy feeling about it, and I'm not really loving this. I don't generally care if you get help or assistance, but I asked her the question, and I said, I need to understand why you're not paying for anything. You're just reaching out to people one after the other and getting them to pledge a certain amount of money. I said, that's concerning because after the first month, after they pay deposit, which was $2,300, and they pay first month's rent, also $2,300, now $4,600, I'm kind of like, I'm getting a little bit nervous. And I'm like, how are you going to pay the next month? But I said to her, I said, hey, listen, very, very easily, this is the way it's going to be. First month's rent and deposit. And once I have both of those, we will sign a lease, but I'm not signing a lease with you until both of those are done. And she's like, okay, I can do that. And so then, and she's like, but I'll need about a week. And I said, that's fine. A week is fine. No problem. So, again, we think that we have it rented and we're good with that. And so she then spends the next week and she reaches out to me and she's like, hey, we're really close. Can I move in? I was like, what's really close? I was just curious because I want the perspective. The answer is still no, but I want a perspective on what she thought was really close. So she says really close was 3,100. Well, we just covered it. It's 4,600. I was like, that's not really close. I was like, you're 2/3 there. You got a long way to go. And I said, so the answer is no. And I said, how much more time do you need? She goes, well, I should be hearing back from those other places this week. I go, but you and your husband got paid. What are we talking about here? Like, how did you not make, like, you're going to have to owe in another 4 weeks anyway. Like, how is that not the case? So it's starting to, it smelled like a duck. It's starting to look like a duck. And so I'm just like, yeah, like that's, you know what, I gave my word that if she came up with first month's rent and deposit, that I would sign a lease. That's what I said I would do. And I can't care where she gets that money from so long as it's legal. Well, guess what happens? So they're painting another one of my units, and I get a call from my top client who rents multiple units from me. I get a call. He says, and I'm like, uh-oh. And he goes, what? And I go, dude, it's 7:40 in the morning. This is not a good thing that you're calling me. And he goes, yeah, it's not. I'm like, okay, hit me with it. 7:40. And meanwhile, it's 7:40 on a Monday. Dude, guys, a 7:40 call from your top client on a Monday. To be clear, their monthly rental bill is tens of thousands of dollars. That's how big of a client they are. Tens of thousands. I'm like, all right, what do we got? He goes, you had some people. He's like, you had the people in painting. I said, yep, I did. And he goes, well, my guys showed up on Saturday evening and a bunch of water was missing. I was like bottled water. He's like, yeah. I said, okay. He said soda. I said, okay. He said some food. And I go, what? He goes, yeah, some food was missing. I go, like what? He goes, food from the fridge. Okay. All right. So maybe they didn't talk to each other. Maybe they did. Maybe that's the thing, whatever. And then he goes, and all of their drawers were gone through. And I was like, whoa. What do you mean all their drawers were gone through? He goes, open up their drawer. They basically do laundry all the time for what they do for work. They do laundry all the time. They put it back. It's folded. And this is the process, kind of like the house does a load of laundry basically every single day. So everyone then takes the stuff, the laundry finishes, they take it, they fold it, they put it in their drawer, and they're ready for the next day. So that's typically how it goes. So, and yes, I promise I'll get to this in under 15 minutes. I got 5 more minutes left. And so then he says, and he said, and there was one more thing. And I'm like, okay. And he goes, there was some money in a book and it's not there anymore. I'm like, no, please don't say that. He's like, yeah. I was like, come on. You gotta be joking. So anyway, it's just that. So I'm mortified. I apologize. She's like, yeah, I know it's not your fault. And I said, I got to call and ask him. I said, I've never had this problem with him before. Let me call and ask him and just have a conversation with him. He goes, yeah, totally fine. I said, I'll have a call back to you by 9 a.m. And he's like, because at this point it's about 8. I said, I'm going into a meeting literally with him. I will call you afterwards after I finish my meeting. And he said, okay. So I talked to him and he goes, oh. And I said, new crew. And he goes, yeah. He goes, those are some of the newbies. And I was like, oh. He goes, all right. He goes, well, I'm really sorry. He said, I'm going to go over there, see the guys that had the problem. And I said, he's like, is it okay if I do that? I said, is it okay? Yeah. I said, I don't think you need to. I said, I'm happy to fix it. And he goes, nope, I have no problem. I'll fix it. Again, this is where you know you got a great contractor, right? Where there's relationship there, there's trust there. So I thought it wasn't really possible for me to think more highly of him, but I thought more highly of him. Did the right thing. Goes over there, literally just goes over there and says, hey, not to put anybody on the spot, but you know, who had the issue? And you know, guy kind of sheepishly says me, and he hands them the money. Like, you can't ask anything more for that. This is why I talk about what I teach in the course about hiring the right contractors, knowing, you know, and going through those steps with them, having a relationship with them. As you guys build your businesses, those relationships become more important. They become more built on trust. And so he does that, replaces that. But what was really interesting is this is the person that was going to rent the unit from me. It's that same person. Yep. So now I've got, you know, fire alarm 5, red alerts all over the place. I mean, this thing is an absolute, it's flag city, and they're all red. So, but still, I'm just trying to digest all this stuff because it all happened within like an hour. And so then I call a lead property guy, and I said, hey, can you, yeah, red snap, unbelievable. So I said, hey, can you run over to that unit? I said, I need you to take pictures. I said, I just want to make sure we have good move-in pictures now that all the work's done, because we had repainted it. We'd fixed some flooring. We fixed some walls from the previous tenant. He's like, yeah, sure, I can do it. He's like, I can do it in probably like an hour. I said, that's fine. So he runs over, does it. Hey, Key, runs over, does it in an hour. No joke. Not just red flags, alarm. Yeah, exactly. Right on, Wayne. Right on. So goes back there, gets in the apartment, and there's a bunch of stuff in the apartment. There's couches. There's TV stands. Guys, no shit. Like, what is going on right now? And so he sends it to me, and he goes, here are the pics you asked for. And I'm like, why is there still stuff in there? He goes, no, we cleared it all out. I go, who is the stuff? He goes, it's the painters. And I go, oh, now I'm, get your suture kit ready, kids, because I'm ripping new assholes. Like, now we've got a big problem, and I'm going to kick some ass. And so this is where it very quickly shifts into F me, no F you. And so I literally send them a text, and I say, I just found out you have stuff in the apartment. You were not given that code to get in there and do anything other than paint. That was your job. You did not do that. You now have 2 hours to get all of your stuff out of that apartment, or I am calling the cops, and I am criminally trespassing you. And because you weren't given that code to move your stuff in, I'm also going to get you for breaking and entering, because you use that thing completely. And so she just starts flipping out and going nuts and blah, blah, blah. Hey, and she starts lighting up my phone. Then she starts texting. When I said to her, I said, let me be very clear. We're done here. You are fired. Get off my site. And I said, 2 hours to get your stuff out and leave. You are no longer allowed on my property. And I said, and if you don't believe me, let's see what happens in 2 hours. I'm being very gracious. Get your shit out of here. And then she starts lighting my phone up. Then she starts lighting up Ashley's phone. And she's like, do I need to answer? Should I answer this? And I go, you should not answer that. It's been taken care of. Then all the people that she got approved for assistance from, she's calling all of them, asking them to call me to do a dive and catch. And I don't want to blow her up. I don't want to say, yeah, she actually committed fraud. She committed theft. She committed breaking and entering. Like, she's criminally trespassing. Like, I could have just absolutely lit the girl up. Didn't want to do that. I just want her gone. I want her gone. What a piece of garbage that she would think that she could do something like this. What a piece of garbage that she thinks that she somehow is allowed to do any of this stuff. So there was really nothing I could do about it preemptively, obviously, because she's there on the team, painting the unit, getting the unit redone. She's working on the crew, this, that, and the other. And again, I'm not trying to steal her dignity either, even though she's a complete and total abject fraud, and thief. She's a thief and a liar. And so then I start looking at absolutely. So then I start looking at the paperwork. I find out that she's actually she's causing fraud on the paperwork. We hadn't signed the paperwork yet. They sent it over to us saying for her and for her son. That was not true. Her boyfriend or fiance was also going to live there, who has an income, and big surprise, no stated income. So she's lying to everybody, creating fraud with everybody. And these aren't just, she had a church. She had a non-for-profit. She had 2 welfare offices. Like, this woman has no problem calling and lying to get money to then move into a place. Like, just the most unethical, disgusting display of liar human I've ever seen. It's just absolutely disgusting. It is. My 15 minutes is up. But that's the end of the story. So completely blown away. But she gets out of the unit. We have not seen her since. And I've warned her, it's in black and white. You are warned. If I see you on location, if any of the neighbors see you anywhere near this building, or any of the others, or the other one that you stole the money from, I will not hesitate to press charges. So I think the reason that I tell you stuff, yeah, absolutely, dregs of humanity. You're exactly right, Chester. The reason I tell you this stuff is because being a landlord isn't always easy. It's generally speaking, it's very hard the first 5 years. Then you create systems because you took the Lumberjack Landlord's amazing course. But then you take systems and you create systems and create efficiencies and processes that then make it very easy to manage your business just from your phone, just like I do. All 150 plus units managed right from this little thing. God bless you. Thank you, phone. Now, all that being said, there's still things like this that occur where imagine the language that's used is very important. Things like, I'm disappointed in you. Dude, I'm disappointed in you. Who cares? Who cares? Like, not a thing. The good news, Craig, is that she's actually a known entity. So I have enough people that I know at the police department. I don't want to, listen, she's clearly got problems. She clearly has issues. But if she starts getting police involvement, they're not going to let her into a shelter. So I don't want her to be homeless with no room over her head. What I do need to make sure happens is that she's held accountable from the perspective that she got no place. Then she starts, she says to her boss, no joke. I already paid him. Didn't pay me. So he calls me, he goes, Matt, he goes, she said she paid you. I go, no, she's full of shit. She's a liar. She's a liar. Flat out lied. I said, listen, no ill will towards you. You're hiring people and she's new to the crew. I get it. It's fine. I'm no ill will towards you, but she's a liar. Then somebody else overhears I gave her $3,000 last week, her fiance. I gave her $3,000 last week because he's also on the crew. Oh yeah, Johnny Potvin. Yeah, true story, right? Yeah, marriage material. Yeah, yeah. Oh, I'm pretty sure. I know she's been divorced at least twice, and I know she's only in her early 30s. It's amazing. If Dion were around her, he might pick her. I love you, buddy. But that's the story. So what I would tell you is be vigilant, be aggressive. You have to be aggressive. Like I wasn't going to show up and punch her in the face, but I had to be very aggressive with my words because there was no mincing what I said. I said exactly what I said for a reason. I said it the way I said it for a reason. And it was very clear. If you are still here in 2 hours, I am being nice and letting you get your stuff out. If you are still here in 2 hours, you are done. I will criminally trespass you. I will press charges for breaking and entering, and I will absolutely make sure that they get followed through on. Get out. She's like, please just don't involve the cops. I was like, I know. Trust me. I know you got a past. Get over it. Get out. And so thankfully we've been done. But this is the insanity that you're going to see more of in these markets because more people depend on these handouts. And when they do, she's very skilled at getting handouts. She got 6 of them. She only needed $4,600 to move in. She was able to raise $7,200 in 3 weeks. Think about that, guys. Too many people willing to just listen to the lie and fund the lie. So I would just caution you. I've never seen this before. It's never happened before, but nip it in the bud, get it done. Make sure that it's, that she understands the level of aggressive. Yeah, Chesla would have kicked her ass. That's true. That's true. But this is the thing, right? So I just want to tell you guys, I share everything with you, tell you exactly the way it is, ups, downs, good, bad, the whole nine. And you lose in the beginning, you lose more than you win, but that's what the course is for, to take you through a lot of those losses with as little scathing as possible. But that's what I wanted to share with you guys tonight. So now we're going to jump into questions real quick. So glad to have all you guys here. As our good friend Chester Wealth Building Journey alluded to, Millennial Mike, the Raging Tomato. The debate was last week. It was absolutely spectacular. I told my second born that she is not going to be able to go to college because I decided to super chat so much there instead. And I think she's okay with it. She's 5, so I don't really know. She hasn't come to grips with it yet. But the Raging Tomato was an amazing debate. It was basically 1 on 8. It was, why landlords are disgusting pigs. I think we're actually going to be talking about, you guys will see it. Go look on the Raging Tomato. The host there is absolutely spectacular. She's a wonderful woman. And she's an amazing host. Like, she will tell people to shut up. She will tell people stop talking. She would tell people, listen, you're going to need to add value or I'm throwing you off the panel. Like, love. I think she's probably the best moderator I've ever seen. She's spectacular. So we had been talking back and forth. Dion and I had done a video talking about kind of what it was, and how much we admired kind of the way she handled everything. So there were a lot of moving parts. So she was fantastic, but excited to be a part of that. It's what we're going to be talking about is Trump killing programs. You guys saw the video that I did with Zuber. And I appreciate all your guys' support. I really, whether we disagree or agree, I agree and disagree with Zuber and Dion all the time. Dion tells me I'm wrong all the time. And that's fine. But I appreciate all your support in the comments. I love the fact that you guys, give your opinions. Because again, the opinion that I share is only mine based on experience. The unique opportunity for me is I've got 24 years of being a landlord, but I get access to hundreds of you. I get to hear your stories all the time. I read your comments. I read all your comments. Not the best at responding to all of them, but I read all of them. And so it's really interesting to kind of see, the type of environment on the Raging Tomato that she's created where there can be that discourse. Now you've got your, some blowhards there that are there basically just completely woke, dumb agenda that don't know what they're talking about. I have no problem if but when I hear a lot of the noise about, well, there was this one guy from Canada and he saw a couple documentaries. I said, dude, you're out of your depth. You're completely out of your depth. You watched a couple documentaries once, well, Well, I stayed at a Holiday Inn last night. That actually makes me more qualified than the 2 documentaries you watched. So the debates are awesome. It's not really a debate. It's more what they call a throwdown because it's literally 8-on-1. I still like my chances. Because again, all of the opinions that I'm going to share are based on facts. They're based on experience, and nothing is based on, well, I heard once. None of it. None of it. So June 5th, it's 9 p.m. Eastern time is when this thing starts. It starts late. 9 p.m. Eastern time, like my life. But it's 9 p.m. Eastern time, June 5th. Very excited to be doing this with them. Like I said, I think it'll be absolutely awesome. Give me just 1 second here. That is poo. No, here we go. That is as luck would have it, it's a Thursday. I know where you guys would normally be at Thursday at 9 p.m. You'd be right here. So now we're going to have you there. But yeah, I think the key is that, guys, I'm not going there to be a peacemaker. That's not the point. I'm not going to change their minds. All I'm there to do is share the facts. That's it. There's no feelings or emotions. It's all logic. It's all facts. It's no feelings at all. That's not what it's about. It's about, I need to share with them, this is what actually happens. This is what's actually occurring. This is what in reality is happening today. Not, well, but I feel, well, but if, well, and then, no. This is what's happening right now today. This is what's going on. None of what you're talking about has happened, is true. It's rumor. Let's talk about facts. So that's what we're going to get people focused on. Now, people are likely going to get offended. Oh, they're definitely going to get offended. But what I really want is you guys showing up and sharing your experiences. If it's different than my experience, still okay. It's actual experience. It's not feelings. It's not, well, I think. It really, truly is about experientially what occurs. So I look forward to having you guys there on the 5th. Troy, sorry that your son's birthday is that day, but happy birthday to him anyway. But would love to have you guys there and just participating. So let's jump into the comments. So yeah, the Raging Tomato. The Raging Tomato. So good evening, all you guys. Old REI guy, good to see you, sir. Let's hurt some feelings. See, that's the goal, isn't to hurt feelings. The problem is that's where I end up. People a lot of times can't take truth. They a lot of times can't take what your experience was. They can't do that. For those of you guys who are Netflix subscribers, like most of you, I assume, there's an amazing documentary that was just on, and I think it was called American Nightmare. And it was about this poor woman that was kidnapped, and then she was returned home, and it all sounded so unbelievable, but none of the police believe her. The FBI didn't believe her, and it was completely corrupt. Watch it. But watch that, and you will see exactly the trouble that I have having conversation and communicating with people, is because I'm not here to share my feelings on the matter. I'm here to share, this is what happened, this is what was done, and this was my reaction and response to it, and what we've done, and then how they've handled it. So that's what we're here to do and share. So Master Coach, good to see you, sir. Hi from the road. Jim and Carolyn, good to see you guys. Yeah, long winter, and spring has been plenty went the last few weeks, so back at it. Angel R, good to see you. Mark Hambone, good to see you as well from the Spokane area. Some fantastic junior hockey takes place there. Dion, good to see you, pal. Hi, Wayne, good to see you as well. Jason Calisabetta, good evening. Buzztune Mikey, good to see you. Echo Tekov, hell yeah, I appreciate you coming and hanging out. Wealth Building Journey, good to see you. Robert Farinelli, same. Oscar, Laura, great to see you guys. Craig, yeah, this should be good. That's what it was, man. It was crazy. I was absolutely blown out of my mind. Just, I couldn't believe that somebody had the balls to do something like that and then act like they were on the moral high ground. Like, hey guys, get the suture kit ready. Because we're absolutely ripping some new ones. Jen Stewart. Okay, so now that I've gotten to Jen Stewart's comments, here's something very important. I did answer a bunch of the other stuff. Actually, Jen, I will come back to you. Kyle, good to see you. Flavio as well. Great to see you as well. Robert, before I throw a bunch of questions at a real estate investing meetup last night, very shocked how some of the big guys people look up to are clueless and pushing very bad advice. Guys, and Robert's exactly right. I go to these meetups all the time and I listen to these blowhards and I listen to their strategies and they're complete garbage. And you know what? A lot of them are getting their asses kicked right now. A lot of them are in big financial trouble right now. A lot of them are having to sell off assets right now because they believed bigger was better no matter how you get there. It's not true. It's factually not true. Now, here's the thing. We've had higher vacancy than we've had in the last 2-3 years. But because we were pre-COVID landlords, because we've been doing this for 23 years, we've seen vacancies at this number. To give you an idea of what high vacancy is for us, our state is about 1% vacancy rate. And right now we're probably about 4%. So 4 times what the state one is. But what we're seeing is we're seeing a lot of our inherited tenants move on, which is amazing. It's exactly what we want to have happen because we don't kick people out. So when we take over a building, we're not like, hey, your rent's going up right away. We just bought a building. We bought it about 2 weeks ago now, just after the beginning of May. We bought it about 2 weeks ago now. We've introduced ourselves to the tenants. Everybody's happy. One of them we knew was actually leaving. And here's the great news. She was paying $1,800, market's $2,400. $600 a month, $7,200 a year, all to the bottom line. All my costs are exactly the same. I did the deal based on the $1,800, knowing that my 20 and still making money. It wasn't one of Dion's 4.5 awful reasons. But still making money on the deal, still making plenty of money on the deal. But now I'm going to make even more money on the deal. I'm going to make even $600 a month more. I think going into it, I was making maybe 800 net, 900 net, but I knew that there was plenty of space, especially in that unit. It was just a duplex. So next door, we're not going to raise their rent. Their lease, I think, runs out, and I want to say it runs out in like 3-4 months. We'll get a list done of the things that they want to see and have done and taken care of. So we'll actually get that list done, and then we'll start having the conversation in probably 30 to 60 days and just say, hey, what do you guys think is fair? And, we'll let them know, hey, next door is rented out for 24 and you're at 21. So can we get to 24? Maybe. Would I take 23? Probably. And that means 47. And that means that the thing makes quite a bit of money. It makes about $1,700 a month at that point. It's a pretty nice number for a duplex, And that's after expenses, kids. That's after expenses. Now, how do I find that deal? That was a relationship deal. Somebody had seen me speaking in front of the town on a given issue that they aligned with. And then when they said, hey, you know what? I think I actually want to sell that property. They actually reached out to me and said, hey, I've got this property. Now, don't get all panties in a bunch. It's not like that happened when I was in my 3rd year. Didn't happen then. Didn't, because I wasn't well known, but that's what I learned. In the last 5 years, the thing that I learned, it is a double-edged sword. When you get known, you definitely have a target on your back, but you also get a lot of opportunities that you wouldn't otherwise get. So long as you carry yourself well, the target on your back doesn't really matter because people are going to come at you anyway. People hate success when others have it. Well, at least losers do. And so that's kind of the thing. But yeah, I think that, Robert's exactly right. These rooms full of a bunch of posers, I'm telling you, if they have not been in business for at least as long as Dion, they have no idea what they're talking about. They've never experienced a down market. Dion leveraged his experience or his understanding of markets, and he got in there. He did the work. He wasn't lazy. I totally disagree with him. He wasn't lazy. He did work hard and he did put it together. And there was years of sacrifice. So he did all those things that all of us do. But now it's so he can be lazier than most. And again, now he's in a position where he's not over levered. He's had 14 years in some cases of rental appreciation and not taking the money out every single time. I took it out strategically. I have 30-year fixed rate debt across my 85 or 87% of my portfolio. Only a few buildings that I have that don't have 30-year fixed rate debt. And that's quite frankly, it's fine. It's the way it is. But I have 87% of my portfolio is 4% and under 30-year fixed rate debt. I'm good, guys. I'm good for quite a long time with the margin I'm going to create and what I'm going to do. So it's going to be one of those interesting things. Andres Matos. Matt, do you like duplexes, triplexes, quadplexes, or depends on the deal? Yes, it always depends on the deal, but ideally I want to go quad and then get smaller. I want to do owner rock, house hack. Do you see my video on the 4321 specialty? There's a reason I did it there's a reason you try and do it that way is it saves you the most amount of money. It takes the least amount of capital to do that deal. Cause a lot of times in a quadplex, you can do owner rock. You can get owner rock financing at 5% down. And most people don't know this, but you can get 3.5% as a credit. So you talk to them and say, I'd like to do it for 3.5% over, then get that as a payback at closing. And then the only thing that you're paying is 1.5% of the purchase price plus some closing costs. You're out of there for less than 10 grand on a quadplex. Go ahead. Show me all the people that are teaching that magic. There aren't. I did it. I actually did it. Now, did I do it with a 4? I didn't do it with a 4. I did it with 3s because 4s just couldn't find the 4s. They weren't available, but I could get a 3. So I did 3s. Howdy everyone. Cash flow is freeing. That's very true. Let's see. Robert Farinelli, I was told by some guy that it's not worth to use Gen service because everybody is cold calling family owners. So it's a waste of time, even though you have proven otherwise. Yeah, they're stupid. They're lazy, and I'm going to beat them. That's, yeah. If we were, assigning t-shirts, winner, loser, like, oh, everybody else is doing it, so you shouldn't do it. Okay. What about competitive advantage? What about the fact that Jen has 15,000 hours of experience in wholesaling, more than that douche does, and she taught her entire team? And then the fact that winners want it more. Winners want the ball, whether it's Denver or Rose or Monique, or her team is amazing. And I've worked with almost all of them, almost all of the sector, if you will. They're fantastic. Fantastic. We're going to share some stats to prove it. But yeah, that's exactly why I do it. That's exactly why other people are clowns. And ask them how many. I mean, you guys need to put the pressure on somebody when they say stupid. I don't let stupid fly. I'm not that gracious. I'm just not. If you say something really stupid that I know is a lie, or that I know is completely misleading somebody, I'm going to follow up on it. So when somebody says that, I would say, when was your last deal? Great. How much margin did you have on that last deal? Great. Did you have the money for that deal, or did you need to go out and raise money to get that deal? I guarantee you the answer to almost all those questions was, or are, it was longer ago than what you would expect. Yes, they had to go out and raise money, and they didn't, and they probably found it on MLS. Guys, really? Like, I want to win. And so the beauty of Jen's approach is it's an avenue. The idea, the mistake, and I love Dion, so this isn't a slight on him. The mistake of MLS is that everybody else sees it. If you like competition in your deals, buy off of MLS. Yeah, buy off of MLS because that's where all the competition is. Do you know what I like doing? I like playing against no one else. Because at that point, I make Jordan look junior, right? I want to be creating the deals. I have a captive audience. If I know how to talk to a person, it's a conversation. And it's understanding. Sales, telling ain't selling. Telling ain't selling. I'm not selling them on anything. I'm just asking questions, trying to understand where they're coming from. That's what I did with this person that I did my deal with. I wasn't telling them anything. They reached out to me and I just started asking questions. Sure. What's your time frame? Sure. When are you hoping to get this done? Great. Did you have a price in mind? I wasn't arguing with any of their prices. I wasn't saying, well, I'd be in this ball. No. Hey, I'd love to just get over and take a look at the place and then kind of go from there. I never mentioned a price. Until like deep into the conversation, because once you go there, you can't go back. And I really want to see what value can be built there. I want to give the most that I can possibly give to them comfortably. Right. And I need to see the asset. What problems does it have? What problems am I inheriting? Am I missing? Am I losing any tenants right away? If I had been losing the tenant on the other side that pays a few $100 more a month, I'd have been like, okay. All right, but I'm going to have to fill it like right away. Like even now we have to fill it right away, but I don't care about filling it right away because it's gonna be $600 more a month. P.S. By the way, the agent saw the place and she loves it. She's like, this place is awesome. It's gonna rent in a second. Location is the nuts. Like I'll show you guys the property because now we're closed, but I'll show you guys the property. Location's beautiful. So watch for a pop-up sometime the next, I don't know, few days. Flavio, I can't wait. I'll be there to support. Guys, I appreciate you there to support. Again, we don't want to be hammering people in the comments. We just, when somebody says something stupid on stage, expect that I will hold them accountable and I will make the follow-up question. I'm sorry, but some doofus from Canada who owns garbage is a renter. And he starts talking about how, you know, well, yeah, you have all these tax breaks. Dude, to have a tax break, you actually have to make income. Like, it's just dumb. It's just dumb. Stupid things get said, but whatever. Like, we're there to have a conversation. So Wealth Journey, that was a good guess, but we don't want to get to the arresting thing unless they're not going to just turn around and walk. Robert says, and what I should do is only cold call single family homes and wholesale flip them because that's the only thing that works in NH. Yeah. Well, he's not nearly as wealthy as I am. How about that for a neener? And guys, we're going to finish up. I actually did, I spent 15 minutes on the flip house. I did a quick Facebook search. I typed up a message and I sent it out to 10 different guys for some tree work. That's it. The next day I checked on it and I had somebody that goes, yeah, I can do that. And here's the amount. And the amount was very fair. So I said, sure, let's do that. And so he was there today. He sent me a text saying, hey, I'm here. I said, okay, great. Thanks. Do you need anything from me? He's like, nope. I said, cool. Let me know when you're done and I'll get you paid. Now he finished at like 6:30 and Kenny's not around at 6:30. Our lead prop guy. He's not around at 6:30. He asked if he needed to come back. I said, no, don't worry about it. I got it. So the guy took a bunch of pictures. And so I Venmo'd him and he was done. Keep in mind, so I sent out that message. I got, 3 or 4 numbers back. Guys, I had numbers on this job that ranged. I got 3,000. I got 2,200. I got 1,200. And I was like, okay, but I'm explaining. I sent 5 pictures of here's what the job is. And my little type up that it was literally just cut, paste, attach, or attach. That's what it was. So I get all that stuff out to them. They see it. It's very easy. But again, entire process for me, 15 minutes, I'm into that all in. And some guy comes back and I kind of targeted towards more of a rural area. And the guy comes back and he goes, oh yeah. He goes, yeah, it's just me and my big saw. He goes, I can make an afternoon of it. And I'm like, what do you get paid for an afternoon? And he's like, $600. Okay. Sounds good. I accept. $600. There were people in my area quoting that job for over $3,000. Guys, do your research. One of the things we teach in the class, right? We teach it in the class. Do your research. Why should you do your research? It's because you can get a project done. And I knew that project, I'm actually just giving him a tip. I knew that project was about $1,000 project tops. I was like, all in, that's $1,000. But we got it done. We got it done for $600. There you go. Done. Kyle Dorne, Robert, man, you nailed it. So many bad operators. Guys, this is why I want you to take the course so bad. It's not because I need the money. You guys are in the position now where you know what a bad operator is because you guys are good operators. But think about all the effort that you put in, all the stuff in the courses, all the time in the boot camps. Guys, when you finish my course, you've put in about 40 to 45 hours worth of work with a group of people that are all have the same goal, which is retire with a lot of real estate, and around an operator who has, most of those calls have 20, 30, 40, 50 years of experience on them. It's huge. And that is a differentiator, a huge differentiator. And thank you guys for those of you who purchased the course this week. I appreciate you. Very glad that you did. I'm excited that you're with us on this journey. I'm excited that you gave us an opportunity to be on the journey with you. But yeah, to your point, yeah, they're bad operators. And I don't care how big they are with their bragging on how many doors BS. Yeah, there's one guy out there who used to brag on the fact that he only needed to get $50 a door. I was like, dude, you can't make it on $50 a door. Yeah, I can. No, you can't. He got lucky and the market bailed him out. But you can't live off of $50 a door. What are you joking? If it's a duplex and you lose a water heater that year, you literally just lost $500 for the year. You're writing a check out of your pocket. Like, it's just garbage. And it's pure gambling. Yeah, just like you said, it's just pure gambling. I want you guys to know Rentbox, market, how to get deals done, how to get contractors hired, how to assess what the work is that needs to be done, about what that should cost. Guys, that's why you guys win. That's why you guys that have taken the course of the operators, that's why you guys are winning. And I love it. And I absolutely love it. I love it. You take the L and you remove it. You take the L and you remove it. Yeah, that's what I love. Yeah, Red Snap Squatter. Yeah, that's what we did. So Angel R dodged a bullet. No, so the key is how I handled it. Right? Very fast, very, very specific, and very aggressive. That's how they didn't become a squatter. That's the only reason that they didn't. Master Coach University. So we are coming back from Macon. Nice. And found that there's very little multifamily, 29 to 49 or less each area. That said, single family is cash flowing though, so I can go that route. Yeah, if single family does, the only thing that you always want to be considerate of is, can you add an ADU in those areas for the units that are cash flowing the single family? The other thing that I just don't like about the single families right now in this market, and what I mean is nationally, is in most cases, you need husband and wife to qualify. And if one of them loses their job, they no longer can pay that bill. That's why I still don't like single family in this market, is because you guys haven't seen it when unemployment's been at 7% or 8%. And unemployment's going to get there. And it's going to get there because, guys, AI, in case you didn't hear, I'm an AI guy. AI is going to continue to take over and take more and more jobs. And a lot of these people are in jobs that can be replaced with AI. So keep that in mind. One of the things that we're going to specialize in the next boot camp on is I'm going to teach you guys a little bit about AI and exactly how it works and the type of jobs that are going to be eliminated. That way you can get even better at selecting tenants, because what you want is you want people that are bulletproof. You want people that are bulletproof, that AI isn't going to impact, or the impact that AI is going to have is going to be beneficial to them. So that's one of the things that we're going to teach in the upcoming boot camp, is we're going to talk about the AI piece, because I've got 17 years experience with RPA/AI. Josh Burdick, ethical people matter. That's very true. Ethical people do matter. Or perhaps find other metro areas. Yep, that works. Troy Roberts, like the haircut. Thank you, Troy. Every 6 months, whether I need to or not. Dregs of Human Society, I agree. Josh Burdick, woman, I don't know what that is. Oh, yeah, pants on fire. Yeah. liar, pants on fire. Yeah, Troy, you're exactly right. Compulsive liar. Absolutely. Craig, yeah, filing a police report. The only reason that I didn't was because I know in this area, I know the rules of the local shelter. And if you're having an issue with the police, they know it. And you might not get in, and I can't have somebody sleeping on the street. Even if it was something that they did, I need them to just be out of the situation. Chris Culp, good evening, sir. Always good to see you. John Parvin, excuse me. Marriage material, you're quite right. Troy Roberts, he's laughing at that. Yeah, for sure. Dion's laughing at that. Nicole Weigel. Okay, I have my first tenant turnover this July. That's great. Their house is finished being built and are wanting to leave a month early. Okay. Lease says that they pay until the lease is up or re-rented. I'm struggling holding them to that, the extra month of rent. So, Nicole, I totally agree with you. And what the contract says is what the contract says. But you would have to go to court to try and get that thing enforced. They could just not pay it. And then you could have to go through the process of filing and showing up for court and all that other stuff. And you would likely win. That being said, your job as a landlord is to mitigate risk. So you know this far in advance that they're leaving. You just say, listen, the lease says what it says, but let's try and fix the issue. We want to get pictures while all your nice, pretty stuff is still in there. If you guys could give it a nice cleaning, we'll get the pictures done and taken care of. And then we're going to post it, and we're going to give you 24 hours or 48 hours notice every single time. but we're going to need just a couple of Saturdays from like 1 to 3 or from like 10 to 12 where we're just going to be able to, and we'll have somebody there walking people through the unit. But we need to be able to do that in order to get this thing rented. And then obviously then that makes the lease a moot point. So come from a position of trying to mitigate your risks, fix your own problems. They were nice enough to give you tons of notice. I had somebody that was like, yeah, our house is going to be finished then. And I was like, okay, well then, but that could be squishy and move. I need you have to renew through the end of March. And then they just basically left the end of February and were like, hey, tough. Now I can go to court and I can do all that other stuff. Why waste it? It's a lot of time wasted and I will likely get paid for it. But it's just one of those things where it's like, I have time spent better other places, but mitigate your risks, mitigate the risk and get on top of it, be proactive and try and get this thing rented, because trying to get it rented a month and a half early, you're still going to have to rent it anyway. So who cares? Like, so I would get on it right now and start getting that thing in your process and get that thing rented. Josh Burdick, entitled trash scamming the goodwill of churches. Agreed. And other entities trying to give a hand up. That's exactly right. And that's where we're going to blow people away with the winning approach, much like I talked about on Zoob's video with Dion. That's the winning approach. I know how to fix this thing. So my experience, all of my experience was going into small companies and turning them around and fixing them. I'm a fixer. I know how to fix problems. That's what makes me a really good landlord. That's why I spend a lot of time trying to teach you guys in the boot camp is step back, put yourself in the other people's shoes, assess the situation, diagnose, and then prescribe. Too often people are just walking in there and go, this is what needs to happen. No. Diagnose and prescribe. Would you get pissed if your doctor didn't diagnose and then prescribe? Yes, you would. Yes, you would. Angel R, the less people you deal with, the better, but with a portfolio of your size, it's inevitable. That's true. And largely speaking, I don't deal with a ton of people, but the people that I'm largely dealing with are the problems. Like, that's the way it goes, because my people are empowered to make decisions and do things. But there's certain things when they say, yeah, I kind of need you to handle this. Absolutely. That's what I'm there for. I own the company. It's my name on the masthead. I got to fix it. It's my company. So that's what we do. There's the link to the course. There's also the link to the Raging Tomato. Would love to see you guys there. Hey, Mark, good to see you, sir. Congratulations on all the views this month. That came up in my feed. Guys, check out Mark, Financial Firefighter. He is out there killing it with a ton of content that only a firefighter could do with all their free time. I'm teasing, of course. Trarts. OMG, Matt, I've taken several interested tenants talking about how their landlord did this and that and all of these health problems. Their car broke down. Oh yeah, you don't take those, because I promise you the drama has it's a Karen Carpenter song. The problem has only just begun. That's what I'm telling you. It happens that way for sure. Jason Callis, a bit of the debate was fun. She gifted me membership. Oh, that's very cool. I would hope so with all the super chatting I was doing. Kyle Dorne. Oh yeah. And happy birthday to your son on the 5th, Troy. Kyle Dorne, closing another deal in 3 weeks due to your advice once again. Love it. Realtor I know, listed a property on MLS under market for 110K, should sell for 160 all day. Gee, you're buying value. I love this. And again, kudos to you. Kyle's put in the time. He understands what buying value is. He knows the market better than many of the realtors in the area. Guys, this is where you unearth value. This is where you unearth value. One of the deal that I just did was $105,000 less than appraised value. 105. Now, I thought that was high. In all honesty, I thought the number was high. I think it's worth less. Don't care. There's a bunch of equity sitting there. I went to the bank and I said, hey, listen, I'd like to put less down. And they're like, really? I go, yeah, I want to put less down. They're like, all right, talk to us. I go, I want to do the siding on the house. He's like, so if I let you put less down, you're going to do the siding? I said, yes. He goes, all right, let me get back to you. Give me a couple of days. Comes back to me, goes, we're approved. You're approved. You're good. We're going to let you put less down so you can do the siding. Guys, you can't get that with a broker. You can only get that with a relationship. That's why I implore you guys, as you're building your businesses, create these relationships. That stuff will matter. That stuff will matter. I get to side the house now for basically for free. It's not going to cost me any money out of pocket. Guys, that's huge. Now the house is going to look beautiful because it's not beautiful right now. It's okay. It's a cute house, but it needs some work. And we're going to do that work. T-3 weeks. That's true. We are closing in on that time. Kyle Dorne, I looked at it the first day, not my strategy typically. Yep. I asked the realtor, what are the 3 most important things to the seller? Gee, I wonder where you learned that. I love it. Congratulations to you for kicking ass. Got that info, gave them 3 offers, giving them what they want several different ways. And you got the deal. Imagine that. Kyle Dorne kicking ass right there. Love that. The offer they accepted was $105K. God bless me. He has with you. Plus 2% concessions. They had over asking offers and decided to take mine under their asking because. Guys, just saying. That's what we teach in the boot camp. That's what we teach in the boot camp. It's not the highest price. It's just not. It's the best deal. And Kyle, you nailed it, dude. You nailed it. Good for you. Can't wait to hear the word vomit of epic proportions this time around. Yeah, Troy, it's crazy with the silly things that they're going to say. It really is. Key, yeah, June 5th, 9 p.m. Eastern time. You will be on Raging Tomatoes. Yes, correct. I will be on Raging Tomatoes. And Sarah, who's the host, is absolutely amazing. My one of my goals is to get out of there without her having to tell me to, STFU. Crimson Knight. Oh yeah, still nothing in Keene, but traffic is picking off with doing a reduced security deposit. I think the open house this weekend is going to be a good one. Yeah, I think we needed not weeks of rain after rain after rain after rain. We saw it pick up for us too. We put 3 units under agreement last weekend. So it definitely picked up. It shifted beginning towards the month too, so they can give their notice, all that good stuff. Let's see. Crimson, very small open house. Yeah, different times, so only one group at a time. Yeah, I get it. Yep, I get it. I get it, Crimson Knight, for sure. Mark Hambone, Medicine Hat is really handing it to us, our beloved Chiefs. Their puck control is just ridiculous. 3-1 series. Yeah, Spokane Chiefs. I love minor league hockey. I used to watch a lot of the minor league hockey. Or junior hockey as well, juniors. But I used to watch a lot of juniors hockey too. I was addicted. Yep. Let's see. Most people are doing PPC right now. Proportionately, very few people are doing cold calling right now. That's very true. Very true. And Jen would know. So let's talk about Jen real quick. So Jen is, I won't say she's not a partner because I have no financial vested interest in her or her company. She obviously has none in mine. We only have one Mrs. Lumberjack. But Jen is amazing. And so one of the things that I wanted to cover with you guys were some statistics. And statistics matter because they are numbers and they are not flawed. So I wanted to share with you some of the numbers that we've seen. So that way it's not just my experience. My experience has been absolutely fantastic with Jen. It's been great. She's honest as the day is long. Her team is hardworking. They're honest. They give us good feedback. You can listen to the calls and learn how to be a better prospector from them, which is something I highly recommend. But here were just a couple of things that I wanted you guys to consider. To give you perspective. So one of the people that I sent over, 80 leads in 4 months. They were only going to do 1 month, but the 1 month turned into 2, turned into 3, turned into 4 because they were starting to see results. Now, the timing sometimes is different on a deal closing, but what you're trying to do is you're trying to create a funnel. Think of a funnel. This is the shape of a funnel, right? You're trying to create a bunch of opportunities up here, and then every single step you go down, it becomes a funnel down to the bottom. And so if you what you do is you start to find out, hey, in my area, I need 10 leads to get 1 through the bottom of the funnel where I actually get a deal. All right. They progress through and people bow out because price, because they decide they do want to go to market, because they decided not to sell, all these other number of reasons. But what you do is you fill a funnel. This is a sales thing. Fill the funnel at the top and then it funnels down through. So you might have 10 leads here. And then when you get more qualified, you only get 7 leads. And then when you get another step more qualified, like, hey, we're doing appraisals or whatnot, then that's another level. But eventually you get down to the bottom and maybe it's 10 at the top and 1 at the bottom. So you're a 10-to-1 close ratio. That's what you want to look at, is then how many leads do I need to create? So this one particular person, 80 leads, and they're filling their funnel. They're filling their funnel with opportunities. Second one, this isn't a lead count. This is a deal count. They have 12 active deals in 90 days. Now, there's something clearly going on in that market. There's something clearly happening with how these guys are approaching these opportunities, but 12 deals. Now, are all 12 of those deals going to come together? Nope. Could they afford all 12 of them? Probably not, but they can afford 2 or 3 of the best ones. But the idea is you need the amount of deals coming in, top of the funnel, getting down through the bottom of the funnel. You need the number of leads coming in that lead to then that number of deals that then lead to this many number of closed opportunities. And then the last one is they're using her team just to kind of, to basically do follow-up. Guys, I strongly encourage you. It costs you nothing. You need to have a call with Jen if you're trying to change your business. That's it. Period. End of story. Period. End of story. Give me just 1 second here too. Jen, do we use the REI data? Yeah. So use Jen at reidatasource.net. Jen at reidatasource.net. Jen at reidatasource.net. That's where you want to be, guys. Yep. Oh, Kyle says, and he met them through that cold calling. Guys, that's where it's at. That's where it is. That's where it's at. Hold on, just one. Oh, nope. Let me just get that. There we go. We're good now. Hey, Sean Lambert. Good to see you. R. Freeman. Good guess. Good to see you. Powerful Property Solutions with Jennifer Stewart. Inquiring minds would like to know about PPC. That's true. We're going to have Jen on in the next couple of weeks. We're going to do a special episode. We're just trying to coordinate schedules. Mark Hambone, I finally picked up the course last week. So far it's fantastic. Thank you, Mark. I really appreciate that. I'm about 2/3 of the way through it. There's a couple of gaps, particularly one in student rental. Yep. Yeah. So we had a bunch of issues getting that up. We redid it. And we actually did it in a boot camp where people were able to ask questions. And so we're going to substitute and put that in there so people get 2 things. 1, they see exactly what a boot camp session goes like and how in-depth we go. And 2 is it's all of the data in there and it's literally step-by-step of exactly how we did it. So yes. And then there's a new one coming on now that the course is finally, the boot camp is done. I'm finishing up the Section 8 and the lead one. The lead one is going to be separate. It's a much bigger course. There's a lot to it, but the Section 8 one, I'm going to take you through all the steps of Section 8. That's what we're going to do. Yep. BuzzTune. Oh no, R. Freeman. I'm behind on the video map, but yeah, a couple of people getting crappier, it seems. Yep. I'm still a noob, but recently had someone damage my rain gutters and move out. Attempted to break in at my duplex, broken windows. Yeah. And that's one of the things that, we're looking at is solar powered cameras. The problem is people think that they've checked the box and are like, yeah, solar powered cameras, like I'm good, or I'm good with cameras. And then you can't see anything. Then what does it matter? So we're actually looking at that now. We've got a couple cameras that we're putting in place. I won't bore you with the details, but we got a couple cameras that we're putting in place. And we'll let you know what we think about what they look like. Cause when does it usually happen? Usually happens at night. Let's see. Dylan Penningham. Good to see you, sir. Good to have you here. BuzzTune, do you find unearthed value from newspaper subscription in your market? Yeah, I think so. I want local news. I don't give 2 rips about Boston news, which is what most of the news that they give us here. I don't even give 2 rips about Manchester news. I don't care. I don't do anything in Manchester. I want to know what's going on in my local community. So most of them have online subscriptions. I actually really like the physical paper. I don't read the paper, but I actually will do the online subscriptions just so I can actually see everything that's being talked about. What stuff's getting approved, what builder did what, that sort of stuff. Just understanding like what are some of the things that are the angst of the town. Because here's the thing, if I'm going and talking on a project, I need to be informed about the town, and what they're going through and if they're facing some issue. Financial fighter. Hey, I expect that from Millennial Mike. Yeah, I know. I had to do it since he wasn't here. Actually out waiting for shoulder surgery. I'm sorry to hear that, man. Government inefficiency. Been waiting 4 weeks for the surgery to be scheduled. Oh, dear God. What a nightmare. I'm sorry, man. Are you having it replaced? I'd love to know if you're having it replaced. Hey, Alyssa. Good to see you. Alyssa was, I think, my very first interview on my channel. She's awesome. Alyssa McEwen. Good to see you. Master Coach University. So then the ADU would help lower the impact of the AI unemployment upon sale or rental or both. So what I like about the ADU, what I think is important about the ADU is make sure if you're able to do it in an area where you know you can get an ADU, the idea is that you've already bought the land. And so what you're then looking at is, you know, it's going to cost you $300,000 or $400,000 to build another house or buy another house. But what happens if you can get a nice ADU, a 1-bedroom or a 2-bedroom ADU, where you can build the thing like Derek, that ADU guy who my brother from another mother, you know, and he works out so much and walks and does so many trails. I get tired watching him. But so I feel like I've worked out. But that ADU guy is definitely somebody that's worth a check out. Love Derek. He's just the dude. But he builds his for like 70 grand. Now they might cost 100, right? But if they cost 100, here's the thing you have to consider. You already own the land. You're $100,000 all in. You added another unit. Maybe it was a conversion of a garage or just, you know, something that was in the backyard or something that you were able to do off in the corner of the yard. The thing to consider is for $100,000, what's your debt on 100 grand? It might be $750, $800 tops a month. You're going to get $1,500 for rent. You just added so much value to the property, but more importantly, you just created $700 more a month of income on the same asset that you already had. That's a huge win. Huge win. Alyssa M. I know. I'm glad you still remember me. How could I not remember you? You were a blast. You were so much fun as an interview. And I'm sure you're fun in real life too. We just haven't hung out, but that's okay. Yep. Good introductory rate. Yep. 2%. Hey, Larry Bird. Good to see you, man. LJO in the house. That's what I am. Seller gives me 2% of purchase price towards my closing costs. Yeah, guys, this is exactly what you need to do. And Kyle, this is something we talk about structuring these deals is you can pay the same price. You can ask for less of a discount, all of these things, but you just say, but I'd like you, I don't mind paying you that little extra. I just want you to give it back to me at the closing table. It's to avoid having to bring more money to the closing table. And people, guys, this is a thing. In every single transaction, you're allowed to get up to a 3.5% credit, up to 3.5%. Why you're not trying to work on a deal, add and tack that on, and then get that put in there so you're not paying closing costs. Now, technically, some people are like, oh, that's stupid because then you're paying interest on the closing cost. It's not stupid when you don't have a lot of money. I still remember what it was like closing on my deals. I asked for that concession all the time because I wanted to bring less to the table. And if we're in a case where you're doing a Fannie Freddie and you're putting 3.5% down, do the math. That means that you paid $0 down except for other closing costs, which might be a few $1,000s. This is a winning strategy. This strategy works. This strategy, as they say, slaps. Let's see. Financial firefighter. Matt, would 1 gorilla or 100 men win? 100 men? 100 men and the gorilla, they're both kicking my ass. If it's a debate, I beat the gorilla. If it's 100 men in a debate, it's close. It's close. It's close. If it's something that I know something about, it's not close. But there's a lot of things that I don't know about. But I'm one of those guys who does a lot of, like Dion. Dion and I do a lot of research. Like we'll pick a topic that somebody talks to us about, and it's like, okay, I need to learn that. And so then I go out and I learn that. But I don't just learn it from reading things online. I learn it from talking to people that have been through that experience and say, okay, what was your experience? How did that go? And that's where you, quite frankly, that's where you get really far ahead. You want other people's, that's why the course, I love my course, because it gives you guys a huge advantage. I do it because you now don't have to go through all the bad things I went through, because you got to hear my story, hear how it happened, hear what the outcome was, hear how much it cost me. And then you guys are taking different steps to make sure it doesn't happen to you. That's what I love. That's the main reason I do it. Volume-based funnels. Yes. So it's a conversion. So I used to teach sales. I was a sales guy for decades. And I used to teach it. I was really good at it. So I don't know that I was a very good teacher. So I'll just try and explain it as quickly and as simply as I can. It's about lead creation at the top. And what you need to understand is, so what we would have reps do is we would have reps that had to talk to 15 people to get to a demonstration. And then they had to do 4 demonstrations to get to 3 people that would do a scope of work. And meaning that they would allow us to come in and talk about their project and put together a scope. And then those 3 people would get reduced to 2 that we would get actually the ability to write a proposal for. And then of those 2, one of those would convert to a sale. So it was a 15-4-2-1 conversion, right? A 15-to-1 conversion. That meant that person had to do all of this. Is how you fix big problems. You break them down into pieces. So we knew that he had to be doing 15 of those specific types of activities to then get to 4 demos that was then going to lead to 2 scopes of work that was then going to lead to 1 deal. Now, for me, my numbers were much better than that. I didn't need 15. I needed more like 4. I needed 4 to get to my 1, or sometimes 3 to get to my 1. Really good at what I did. But it's because telling wasn't selling. All I was trying to do was ask the client what they were doing, what they were trying to accomplish, and I was there to help. But more importantly, I was there to assess, are we the best partner for you? We might not be. And I would tell them that right up front. Hey, guys, we'd love to do work with you. You guys are a world-renowned organization. You guys are absolutely fantastic and phenomenal at what you do. We'd love to be a part of that. That said, I don't know that we're the right vendor for you right now. But as we go through this process, let's do a demonstration, walk you through, show you what we have for a product. And based on the needs that you've told me that you had, we're going to show it to you that way. And then if it makes sense, then we'll take the next step. And so the idea was most people get in trying to sell the deal. You're not selling the deal. That's not what you're there to do. You're there to get next steps if they make sense. It's alignment. If they make sense. Do I want a bad client? I do not want a bad client. Do I want somebody where we shoehorned in product? I don't want that client. Because you will waste more time managing that client because you sold them something. You sold them something that wasn't a good fit. You'll spend more time managing that angry client that will cost you more clients down the road. That's why my numbers were untouched, unrivaled. I still own every record in that company. Isn't AI different from the internet boom since it creates agents that replace people instead of connecting them? So not really. Do you see unemployment blowing up in the next 2 years? I see unemployment getting worse over the next 2 years. Yes. But AI, so there's the precursor to AI. AI is artificial intelligence, which is meaning that they can walk through all these different steps, come up with the answer, and then take action on the answer. RPA was the precursor to that, robotic process automation, which was task automation. And that was, you give it a decision tree and it says, do this, see this, do this, see this, do that, see this, and this, do this, and that. That's what RPA was. It was a decision tree and decision logic saying, here's the path of what I want you to do based on what you see. And we have to teach the RPA to do that, the robotic process automation. We have to teach it how to do that. AI goes a step further and says, okay, now I have the answer from what that was. And based on that answer, now I'm going to, go do this task in another system. And I now have the data that I need to then come up with the answer for the thing that they're trying to get, and then take those steps to carry out that task. That's where RPA was infantile compared to where AI is and is going to continue to be. Robert Farinelli, Matt, can you give me your zoning lawyer's contact info? Want to tap into them for this variance? Yes. FX Bruton out of Dover, New Hampshire. Yep. FX Bruton out of Dover, New Hampshire. Angel R. The Tesla Optimus robot will create and service other robots. Interesting times. Oh, it'll do a lot more than that. I've seen it actually. Wow. I don't know what I said, but literally like 30 people disappeared. But and continue to do so. Apparently, whatever it was quite aggressive. But yeah, that's what, so that robot is spectacular. And that's why, look at the sheetrock hanging robot. Now the question is what does that thing cost? Well, right now you can get a sheetrock hanger for $60,000 a year. Okay. The difference is that they'll work 8 hours a day, maybe 9 hours in a day. Well, this robot actually can work 22 and charge for 2. So that means I can do the job 3 times faster. Well, does that mean, and if I'm a company that has those, no sick days, no issues, no complaints, like, none of that stuff. And so you could literally drop off the material. You're going to be done 3 times faster. The question is, what's the quality? And then you'll probably need over the course of the time, the bots will get better, but you'll in the beginning need somebody that goes in and basically fixes up the issues that they create because the process was automated. However, this is one of the things that I taught one of my contractors. I had a duplex. I got a contractor in, and he said, yeah, we're going to do that system for you, and it's going to be $15,000. And I said, or $16,000. I said, that is high. He goes, that's what it cost. And I said, okay. And I didn't have any other quotes. And then I got another quote, and it was around the same price, but he wasn't a dealer for the product. So I was like, no, I'm going to pass. So I'm going to do that with this guy. So I did it with that guy. And then, but in that entire process where he's doing it, I then start searching. I'd spend a bunch of time, maybe an hour or two, finding the next guy, get a quote. It's $11,000 with the system that I want to use. So we do all this work, blah, blah, blah. One side's done. He was 16. The other side gets done. He's 11. Well, the side that was $11,000 ends up with a problem because they made a loop that was too big in the forced hot water loop. And I was like, and then so then what do? I don't call the other guy back to fix it because, quite frankly, he set it up wrong in the first place, whatever. And get the other plumber to come in. He comes in, he fixes it, and he charges me $1,500. He goes, see, that's what you got, what you paid for. I go, all right, school's in session, big mouth. I said, you charged me 16. He charged me 11. I just paid you 15. What does that put me at? He goes, what do you mean? I said, what does it put me at? 12.5 is the number. I'm at 12.5 versus your 16. Go ahead and tell me how picking you is better. I'm far better off picking him for the next one at 11 and the next one at 11 and the next one at 11. And he'll learn from his mistakes. And if he doesn't, even if I have to have you come in and spend $2,000, he's still $3,000 cheaper than you. I know, truth hurts sometimes. Trade Better 99. Good to have you. Evening, Lumberjack. As some who has worked in the tech world, what do you recommend analysts pivot to as AI takes over? Yeah, that's a really good question. I mean, for me, my belief is that you're really going to need to understand the structure of the AI, how it works, and you should be in the cycle for helping manage the AI. AI is not perfect. It's going to make mistakes. It's going to cause things that need to be cleaned up. It's going to cause all of these things, right? So when that stuff happens, that's where the critical thing needs to take place, which is, I agree, reskilling is going to be critical. Analysts, dude, they're going to be able to run analytics faster than you can even type in the data. So I agree with you that you're looking for something else. What I would do is I would start getting closer and closer and closer to the AI and understanding better how it works, what the model is, because AI is not going to be this, it's not going to be, autonomous AI per se. And it will need to be managed because there will still need to be humans in charge of the workshop for at least the next 5 to 10 years as it continues to morph into these different businesses. And then they'll create use cases and models that then can be managed on. Yeah. Robert Finelli, funny through PPC doesn't seem like a great way to get deals. Most people aren't looking on ads online to sell. They're going to agents. Much better for you to initiate contact. Yeah, I think again, the big thing that I want to see is, Jen's team making the phone calls, having the conversations, and just saying, hey, would you at least be willing to just take a phone call? Guys, they're not saying, hey, would you sell your house in 30 days? No, it's your job to skill up and get better at having conversations. What you'll find over time is that your rate, your 15-to-1 rate, will it ever get to 3-to-1 or 4-to-1? It's possible. But the idea is you want that rate to continue to compress, because what we would see in the business is we would see guys that could go from 15 down to maybe 12 or 10, That was a fantastic number. Our best guys in the business were sixes, sevens and sixes. But a very serviceable rep at 10. At 15, if they stayed at 15, they're probably not going to have a job much longer. Hey, Kenny Wong, good to see you, sir. How can I make this a better deal? Kyle Dorne, you're exactly right. This is the deal maker's mentality. This is one of the skills that we teach in the course that we talk a lot about. This is how we do it. What we focus on is what the other person needs, not what we need. We can get what we need in response, but we need to see what they need to close, because that is likely the eyes to the deal and what actually has to happen. And when you're asking thoughtful questions like that, it's going to be endearing to the broker. They can see that you're serious. They can see you want to get a deal done. Guys, it's absolutely worth its weight in gold. And I would strongly encourage you. This is the path that we all take. This is the process we all go through. And this is what's critical. This is what's critical for winning deals, not paying the most. And that's what I love about the deal. Congratulations. Just math. You're exactly right. Yep. It's just math. Just mash. Harsh reality to fire. Good to see you. So AI is like RPA, a recommendation engine? No. So RPA is robotic process automation, which is basically automating any human task that has a decision tree that can be mapped out. AI is that on steroids, because it's able to do that work, but off of large data sets, to then actually give you accurate data that says what we see when this occurs, like in a hospital. What we see is when they get aspirin, when they're complaining of chest pains, and they show up and they have chest pains. And what we see is that if they get aspirin within 3 minutes, then it is like 77% more likely that they'll have a good outcome. Where are you going to find that data, right? All of that data is in all these different systems, and you're trying to assimilate all that data and comb through all that data. And how is it structured? And it might be, it's millions and millions and millions of rows of data and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of columns. To get through all of that, you need artificial intelligence to then go through the process to then come up with, these are the numbers, these are the facts, and then this is what we would recommend that you do. This is our recommended, treatment of that, if you will, or our recommended course. Kyle Dorn hired a new CPA, Millennial Mike CPA. That's great. Looks like he has able to qualify me as a real estate professional. Yes, you definitely qualify as that. Certainly going to help now, being able to write off more than $25,000 of loss to carry forward. Absolutely. You can also, and the losses that you take on your other business, for sure. Dion, real estate is a people business and would be so much better if it wasn't for people. Dion nails it. That's exactly right. Kyle Dorn, only work 1 day a week with the trucking business. That's awesome. Jason Calzabetta, love that plumbing story. Such a great example. Yeah. These are the things that honestly newer investors don't think about, but form those multiple relationships, understand the value. Like could I afford to pay $3,000 to have the tree work done over there at 44? I could have paid, but why pay? Why pay? That doesn't make any sense. Why would I pay an extra $2,400 for the same job? And the job that the guy left me is plenty good. All we're going to do. So he basically cut up all these massive logs, some of them literally this big, like these big, huge, massive logs. And he actually cut them into 1 foot pieces. And so now we can go get a splitter and we can literally load the splitter up. It'll take somebody that we pay $20 an hour. It'll take them all day long to split that and stack it. And it's awesome. It's just an awesome idea. No two ways around it. Let's see. Matt has very good AI knowledge. Now, can you explain how neutral networks work and math behind it? Realist Sigmoids. No, I can't. I spend my time on RPA and AI. That's where I was an expert. But you can explain those things. Honestly, you'd have to do a members only on that because people are falling asleep listening to that stuff. Same if I went elbows deep and knee deep in AI and RPA. And the idea is, so it's one of those concepts where it takes somebody, the person that has the ability to make it simple so anyone can understand it, That's true genius. That's where you need to be. And so the big thing for me was we didn't talk to IT. I didn't want to talk to IT. I didn't want to catch all the wind off their propellers from them spinning around on the top of their heads. So I didn't talk to IT. You know who I talked to? The person that owned the problem. If you look at it, right? Hospitals, the way that they work is IT is a service to all of the departments in the hospital. They have a problem, they go to IT, and IT says, yeah, we'll embark on that journey. We'll figure it out for you, and it's going to take 12 to 24 months. But IT doesn't inherently own the problem. The person that it affects is the nursing manager, the billing manager, the CFO, the controller, the head of accounting. Those are the people that it affects. So when I get to hear from them directly, this is exactly, I'm selling to who owns the problem. And when I say selling, it is I'm spending time with the person who owns the problem because they have budget. I'm not going to fight IT for their budget. 93% of IT's budget's already spoken for. They only have 7% of their actual budget is even able to be reused or used that's for new projects. So I spend my time with the people that own the problem. That's why marketing directly to homeowners, they're the people that potentially own the problem. Maybe they have a problem, maybe they don't, but they're the person who owned the decision. And that's what you talk to about. You need to get to power quickly. That's another concept, another sales concept. Robert says, FYI, all of that info is useless. It better to know how to use AI to add value. Yes, for sure. I mean, who needs, petabytes of data? You have it. These massive organizations have it, and they have it for a reason, for like audits and things like that. But what that data about your business, when you understand how AI works, it becomes actionable. It turns it on its head, and it says, all the data that you have is telling us this. What you can say is, let's look at bad outcomes. Well, we need to stop doing those things because we have a very high rate of people dying when that happens. These are the things that AI is leveraged to do, is farm that data and then get that better understanding. Angel R, think AI will drive deflation? Yes. Just the other day, I had a video call with ChatGPT, and it walked me through how to install an AAV and a P-trap myself, something a plumber had quoted me $300 for. Precisely. Just saying. It's the next step on top of like the YouTube and things like that, Reddit. Even, Google, like a lot of people have replaced using Google with just going to ChatGPT. Kyle Dorne, looking at creating a website for buying more rentals. Where should I start for website creation? I would go to Fiverr. I would go to Fiverr and I would look to find who on there does that and then hosts it. Or they give you the contact of where you can then host it locally. But I would go to Fiverr, build me a business website. Your site should be very, very, very simple. It should be very simple, very easily navigable. A page that's about you telling your story. It depends on what you're trying to accomplish with the website. If you're trying to put your rentals and things like that on there, you could do that too. Just make sure that it's, password protected, and just leave a button that says, hey, if you'd like to get access, please just send us a request. What's cool about that, the reason that we put that behind a wall is because I want to see how many requests we're getting. Because people will request it. If you're not asking for any information other than their email, then guess what happens? We build a database of all of our tenants. And when we have a unit that's coming available, we could easily press the button and send it out to everybody and say, hey, if anybody's looking, this is what we have available. Did I just give away a secret? Craig Hammond, I want a fleet of Optimus AI robots and train them in renovating properties. That's exactly right. So you're exactly right, Craig. The issue right in the beginning, right, is going to be how expensive is that robot? Is that robot $1 million, $1.5 million? Or is that, and what are the, what does it take to maintain it, right? Or is that, and can they drive? That's why autonomous driving is going to be important and seeing how that works. So I'm very curious. Ideally, yes, I would have a fleet of robots that then would report to myself and to the property manager. But then there has to be that human interaction component too, which will matter for us as well. Give me just 1 second. Nope. Nope. Wrong one. Here. Nope. Okay. Craig, if it were that simple, builders would buy all the robots and rent them to you. Yeah, so I think that's the key, Angel, is that they want to make enough robots. They want to make enough that, everybody's going to own one, just like a personal computer. But if you remember when personal computers came out and what they cost, they were $10,000. And that was when a year's wage was $10,000, right? That's when some houses were selling for, $60,000 or $80,000. Some of those bigger computers that people were using. So that's just, again, that's where it's, how inexpensive it gets. I use ChatGPT to code. Yep. However, my technical knowledge lets me ask ChatGPT the right questions so I can better code faster than anyone else. That's exactly right. Principal and senior devs are going nowhere, but mid and entry level devs are in trouble. That's exactly right. Yep. And then what ends up happening is that, even the more senior devs will eventually be in trouble because there will be better AI models out there, right, than that senior dev. And that's why everyone gets worried when they say, well, it could eventually take the entire industry, could change the entire industry where it's gone. No industry, I don't think any industry is going to be 100% gone, because there's still going to need to be a level of oversight there, right? There still has to be a level of oversight. Pinhead 1317. I would love to train AI to do my job. Yeah, I think most people would. The only problem is that your company will train it and then you don't have a job. Robert, you're smart for using it, but you're also training ChatGPT to replace you. Yeah, exactly. Like I just said. Exactly right. Kyle, another recommendation for people trying to get more deals is that I've been getting all the email addresses of realtors in your market and mass email them, introducing yourself and what you're looking for. That's exactly right. So that's one of the things that we talk about is, directly marketing yourself to the brokers and to the agents, because then they say, hey, here's the 3 points that you have to make sure you make. Here's who I am and what we're doing. Any deal that you bring me first, you have to just bring it to me first. You are the agent that I will work with on that deal. And then the third thing is that we make sure that any closing that comes of that you get paid, whether that's a seller finance or any of those things. Never renege on that. Make sure that you're always following through, and you will own that market. They will always want to send you that lead first. It's true. They will. 900 sent out last week. Yeah, that's awesome. That's exactly right. Yeah, marketing exactly those. Yep. Fiverr. Got it. Love the advice. You're welcome. No problem. Jennifer. Kyle, I use Finish Green CRM for my websites. I think it's less than $150 a month versus quotes I got for a few $1,000 to build them. Yep. 20 people came back. I know, that was so weird, right? It went down to like 49 and then boom, it was up at 70. It's crazy. Just one of those little things. And so you guys know, for those of you who aren't streamers, there's a little count on the upper left-hand corner and you just see it. And out of the corner of my eye, I can see it move. I'm not actually seeing the number, but I just see it move. And you can just see the number. And it literally went from like 71 or 73 down to 49 in like seconds. And so then I always joke, it's like, oh, it must have been something I said. Robert says, I'll be financially free. Yep, before I'm affected by ChatGPT. That's exactly it. GPT is really dumb right now on writing REST requests and MDX statements for our product. That's laughable. And that's exactly it. It'll get trained. So it takes the easiest stuff first and then kind of works backwards. So that's exactly right. Yeah. And then on the green CRM for websites, yeah, I mean, $150 a month. I mean, it depends. Some of the stuff on Fiverr can be that much cheaper, but again, you get a reference from somebody like Jen who has websites, operates them, has the monthly fees, check, she's a quality resource. Wealth building journey. So with artificial narrow intelligence threatens entry-level devs, AGI, artificial general intelligence, threatens mid-level devs, and ASI, artificial super intelligent, threatens senior devs. Yeah, I mean, supercomputing and quantum computing and all that stuff. Who knows when it's going to take place? Who knows exactly how amazing it's going to be? But expect that you'll need to know how to use it, how to interact with it, and kind of go from there. It'll be interesting to see if they can make them become, mechanics. Plumbers are going to be big. Plumbers, there are literally, hundreds that retire a week. And it's over 100-to-1 ratio. Guys retiring versus new ones coming in. So don't be surprised when your plumber is all of a sudden as much as a lawyer, because there are going to be a lot more lawyers out there than there are going to be plumbers. Nicole Weigel. Okay. Should I have a real estate photographer? Nope. You can take it, since I only have the off-market pictures. It would be around $250, $300. I'm hoping maybe less, since it's a 2-1. You can take the pictures. Or, sorry, I know I forgot you hadn't taken the course. In the course, what we teach you is to hire agents and pay agents for their fees, and just say, hey, this is how we start our relationship with agents. And it can be, so long as they're just good with an iPhone, out of state. Yeah. Okay. So even if they're just good with an iPhone, look and see newer agents, newer, younger ones posting online. They're amazing with their phones. And just say, hey, we're looking for a rental agent that's going to be local in the area and would like to try you out to rent out this unit. But we want to be fair with you. We don't want all the experimentation of pricing and, all the different things. We want you paid for your time. So what we'd like to do is to pay you by the hour. We'll basically give you the ad. We'll post the ad, and then we want you there for the open house. We want you there for the move-in, for the transfer. We want you to go and take pictures. We'd like to start that relationship with you. That's what we teach in the course, and it works really, really, really well. We have multiple agents. We have our favorites, but we do have multiple agents. And so if one's just too busy, then we bring it to the other agent. But, we only pay an hourly fee. We pay an hourly rate. Yep. Kyle Dorne, can you give me steps on renewing rent increase for Section 8 tenant? The lease expires the end of September. I think I have to reach out to housing 3 months in advance. I think it's 60 days. I don't think it's 3 months. I think it's 60 days. But what you need to do is you will have to give them the same thing, proof that other places are more expensive. Talk to the tenant and just say, hey, based on cost, blah, 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 we're going to have to increase, or we're going to do an increase. Just letting them know, because then when you give them, just that way they're not getting caught off guard, that we can say, hey, do you have any questions? And then having that conversation with them. And then when they get that new number, which is whether you binder strategy them or just you came to an agreement on a number, you're then notifying her and you're notifying housing that that's what's going to happen. Mike H, this makes my night. I have been investing in Tesla for the last 3 months with my dry powder. It has been so successful that it slows down on my internet in buying my next rental. Yeah, or interest. Yeah, I think that the challenge always remains, right? So look at how slow the growth was for them to get to the number of units that they're at, and there's still a few percentage points of the overall US market. So the thing that you just have to consider is that it's a longer tail. But yeah, guys, Elon's the man. How can you not think that he's not the man? He's the man. He's the man. That's awesome. But guys, The Boring Company, so that's the name of his company. It's not because it's boring. Yawn. It's because it was a tunnel. It's a company that creates tunnels. So they bore a hole in the earth. But they have all the tunnels in Vegas. I can't wait to use those. I really want to use them. I want to see how it is, because I think it's just freaking the bomb. But the technology, like SpaceX and even the Tesla car, they were 200-mile range and they're 500-mile range. I sold Tesla at 330. If it goes down again, I'm going all in. Yeah, I don't buy stock. That's not true. I buy very little stock. The last stock I bought was Palantir, and I paid, let's just say I paid in the single digits for it. I'm a Alex Culp guy. I like Alex Culp too. I think he's a brilliant man. And Joe Lonsdale, who they were the co-founders of it. Guys, I hope you have an absolutely fantastic week. That's all that I have for you for this week. Thanks for coming and hanging out. We're going to do it again next Thursday. Expect some pop-ups over this next week, because I have to actually get back on site to that property to make sure it's all done. Oh yeah, no, trust me, I get Elon. I'm a tech guy. I'm not like a propeller tech guy, but I'm a business tech guy, and he's a brilliant man. Yeah, he's a brilliant man. He's absolutely fantastic. And yeah, I mean, I don't invest in Tesla. I haven't, probably should. But yeah, there were some that I really specifically liked. And yeah, Josh Burdick, thank you. I actually didn't get a nap today. That's why I'm so tired. And I did a bunch of stuff with my daughter this afternoon, which was a lot of fun. We get to go do a bunch of stuff together. I said, "What do you want to do?" She goes, "Dad." I was like, "Yeah, what do you want to do?" She goes, "I want to." I was like, "Do you want to go get a slushie?" She goes, I want to get a slushie." I was like, "All right, but you got to eat first." And she goes, "What am I going to eat?" I go, "Well, you're probably going to, whatever we have there." So, so she's like, "I want a hot dog." I'm like, "Gas station hot dog? Okay. Gas station hot dog and a slushie and a bag of chips, $3. Special. Circle K. Love you guys. Love Circle K. What are your thoughts on United Health stock? I think United Health is part of the problem. Part of the problem. You're asking a guy who used to work with hospitals in the reimbursement and accounts payable space. They're part of the problem. When you are making even 5% on your money and you have literally hundreds of billions of dollars sitting there in your coffers, if you delay payment for an extra 20 or 30 days, you just made interest on that money for an extra 20 or 30 days. It's really just as simple as that. Yep. I know it to be true. I worked in that space for 17 years. And that was one of the reasons that our robotic process automation worked so well, is that we had something called a claim resubmit. Yep. 600 to 290. Yeah. It's probably going to get worse too. So we did something called a claim resubmit. A number of claims fail. They fail at the first, but then they bring you back what's called remittance advice. And here's all the things you need to change to then resubmit. We programmed something that would update all the remittances, update all those things that needed to do, and then resubmit the claim without human involvement. That was a massive savings for these companies. And what it did is instead of it taking 20 or 30 days when it came back to figure out what those things were and then resubmit, we could resubmit the same day. That cut 20 to 30 days out. What it did was it gave Millennium Mike. He was upset that I did something to him. It's pretty funny though. But that's how it works. And so AR, accounts receivable, CFOs are running their businesses with AR being 57 days. That means that when they bill something, it's going to take 57 days for them to get paid. Well, we can cut AR from 57 down to 42. We cut off 30%, but here's the most important thing that means to them. That means instead of it making interest in that other bank, in United Health, or fill in the insurance company, instead of it sitting there making money on their side, guess what? It's sitting in the hospitals making money on their side. And that's what we care about. Yeah. Matt, from Mark. What do you think about offering high-speed internet in a student rental home? Yes. The dorms offer it, so it makes sense to do that, or just let the tenants handle that on their own. So what you want is you want the capability of doing it. The idea is it's worth spending time to try and get, newer Cat 6 or something like that put throughout the home. It might cost you a few $1,000, but I'm telling you, it opens up the gate because that you make that a selling point. In all of our rehab student rentals, we always say, hey guys, we have Cat 6 running through the walls. It's better than what you're going to find in your dorm, and it's better than what you're going to get wireless. And if you're a gamer, you really need it and love it. And if you have some heavy application, or you're a day trader and you want to trade, this is the type of pipe that you need to actually be able to do all that stuff at rocket pace. And that will, I guarantee you, that becomes a factor for getting certain tenants. It absolutely is. Pinhead 1317, love a polar pop, my man. The most successful man I think I've ever met always had a polar pop. That sounds right. I love the polar pop. I love it. After I do physical therapy on Wednesdays for my shoulder, I actually always go and I get that little meal deal and I get a polar pop. Yep, I do. It's awesome. It's amazing.
Trade better. Last question, Matt. I could Cat 6 is now. Oh yeah, you can get Cat 6 cable. Yep. My house. I didn't build my house, but they had it designed to be a smart home. My house has 3 miles of Cat 6. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous because they ran home runs to everything. And so then I have a big, huge like server rack in my basement. I know, TMI, but not joking. This guy was a weirdo with tech and he went so over the top. He ended up 6x his original budget because he kept on adding features. And now it's a pain in the ass. Matt, I could hear you talk about healthcare tech all day. Definitely need a whole episode. Yeah, I can talk about healthcare tech all day long. You know, I did it for 17 years. 8 of the largest 10 health systems in the country were my customers. So I worked with executives in all of those organizations. I worked with the teams that implemented RPA, which was the precursor to AI, and then some of them that jumped into the AI journey. But system migration, most people think that a hospital has one system. It has one core system. One hospital that we did work with, they support 586 applications. 586, that's one hospital. 586. And it's because the hospital then has something called ambulatory care, which is your OBs, it's your physical therapists, it's your orthos, it's a lot. Sometimes it can be your cancer treatment people. But yeah, healthcare systems are extremely complex. Some things about them are extremely advanced, and some things about them are garbage. What's really funny is everything that they do is to be able to see more patients, create more specialties, get people in the hospital because that's when they get paid. And then the other side of it is everything that they do to then get paid and get follow-up and do all that stuff. That's all a cost, and that's a cost burden to them. Yeah. It's very interesting how hospitals work, but spent 17 years in that space, met just thousands, literally thousands of amazing people. Some of them are still really good friends. And still text back and forth. It's just, it was a huge blessing. It was an amazing career that I was blessed to be able to have. And I learned a lot, and I got to meet a lot of amazing people. I did. And I got to meet some total shitbags too. I met some total shitbag losers. There's places I would tell you, I would never say it on YouTube, but there's places I would tell you that you couldn't pay me to go to their hospitals. Nope. There's some that you could absolutely not pay me. Tomato is live right now. Interesting. I'll have to pop over there and see what they have to say. Literally, when I finish these, I'm so amped up. I just go upstairs and I play with my baseball cards for a while. So I'm going to go upstairs and play with some baseball cards and get a snack. Actually, I'm kind of hungry. Angel, the stock went to a high of 470 in the last 60 days. It went from 240 to 350. The math is pretty good. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I mean, Elon keeps on winning. He does. He just keeps on winning. Keeps on making products that we all need, and thinking of the future. Kudos to him. I have to go watch the train wrecks. Yeah, I agree. Guys, have an amazing evening. Thank you for spending time with me. I appreciate you. We'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys. Again, take care. All the best. Appreciate you.